This conference will now be recorded.
So let's start with Azure sessions. Well, Azure is pretty much similar to AWS. So they have all the services when AWS, Azure, most of the services. So they have almost same. So for example, so for infrastructure purpose, that means we have compute services. Even Azure also have compute services. So they have network related services, and they have also what else we have? We have storage services and database services, right? So everything pretty much similar. Okay? Network in Azure and AWS. But Azure so different from AWS. How Azure is different. Okay. So how do we compare them? Now, in terms of so cost, in terms of cost, okay, and Azure is cheaper. Azure is cheaper in terms of cost compared with AWS. So the reason is Azure has so services. I mean, Azure has some of the services they charge according to the minute. For example, if you take your so EC2 instances in your AWS, those EC2 instances AWS charges hourly, okay? But here in Azure, the charges per minute. Okay? So that is the first difference. So Azure is cheaper compared with AWS, of course. And then, moreover, Azure has specially for Microsoft services. So, for example, I have some applications. Okay, so Microsoft application related. Then in that case, Azure is best suitable. Okay, so I have some, let's say, some .NET applications where I want to do some deployments and integrations. In this case, Azure has some integrated services to it. Okay. Kind of IA, let's IaaS. You like to go with IaaS, Internet Information Services, let's say. Right? So Azure has some supported services for that. But whereas AWS does not have them. Okay. So they have integrated Microsoft services already integrated. That is another reason. Okay, and then moreover, so if you talk about like database related services, so we know this database like in AWS we have RDS, right? Now for example an RDS, I like to create a service called MongoDB. You know this MongoDB, right? So which is a database again. Now, so then I would like to create MongoDB on it. AWS does not have it. So database, I mean Azure has it. So these are the some of the advantages, and moreover, so since it is from Microsoft, which is more user friendly, this is more user friendly. Okay. So they have so a lot of options integrated into Azure console to make the so console user friendly. Okay. So there are these are the and overall idea the differences between AWS and Azure. But when we go into technical, like for example, when I create an instance, or else when I create a database, okay, or else when I create an secure related services, or so load balancers, auto scaling. So of course internally they have more options introduced where you can't find them in AWS services. Okay. So they have so more options. Okay. So more options to user. And these options you cannot find them in services in AWS. Okay, but let's see anyway. But so once we look into practical things, so you will be able to compare AWS as well as Azure by yourself. Okay. And then anyway, these both are cloud providers. AWS is the cloud provider, Azure is the cloud provider, we know that. And but AWS is the leader in the market. AWS is the leader. So AWS has more than 51 percentage of market. Then comes Azure. Azure has about 25 percentage list. Okay, but so that. So let's talk about anyway first. So start with practical things because the rest of the things we know. We know the concept of availability zones and then so regions. We all know this concept. Even Azure has the same concept. Even some of the services you see on Azure, so same concepts. Okay. But let me go through first how to create account, create Azure account. Okay. If you like to create Azure accounts, so the steps are again same. You need to have a valid credit card. I think they don't allow debit card. Azure don't allow debit cards. Some of the debit cards they do allow. I don't know why this is. Might be because of they have tie-ups with some banks. I don't know. But mostly they accept credit cards only, not the debit cards. Okay. So, right. Now go through Azure account creation. The steps are similar like in AWS. Let me show you this step. And also need to create a phone number and we should have a bank credit card. So it's like AWS. Yeah. Moving on. These steps will do for us. Well, firstly, these are the steps. Okay, go with the steps, and we just forward. That's the URL. We show you the URL. Azure. So the URL. Here we create account. I already have login. So let me log out. Just sign in, sign out, let's say. So it's loading, just a second. So this is the problem Azure. Azure is slow. That means the console loading console is slow. So this is what we might not like this. Okay, so I just go with use another account. That's something. Now this is your port, and that's the URL portal.azure.com. Once you are on it, then you go with create account. Okay, So create an account, click on the create one. And then enter some email ID. Let's say my mail something the mail.com something, and then go with next. So gmail.com something, Gmail, next, my mail, it's already in Microsoft account. So my mail, all the account, all the exist, create something else, and then provide the password. And once you provide the password, let's say school some password here. Some password. The email has been sent to so and so email ID, and then you can check the what we call the passcode, confirmation code. I mean, enter the confirmation code over here. Once you enter the confirmation code, you click on next. Okay. So after you click on next, then so you'll have this screen. Okay. So this screen is regarding just enter your personal information about you. Okay, about you means so you have a country, then you have region, so your first name and then last name. So basic details, you know these ones. Okay, email ID and then your phone number, the organization. Okay, and if you have any PAN number, enter the PAN number, but that is optional. Okay, so and then after you click on next. After you click on next, identity verification by phone. So you get a phone verification code and enter the phone verification, and means the PIN number. Where is it from? Yeah, there it is. And then your next screen is your phone verification. So just go with the phone verification. Okay. So enter the phone number. So whatever the phone number that is, enter the phone number, and then you have identification by card. That's the third step. Okay. So enter the third step. Okay. In the identity verification by card, you just enter your card details, your bank card details. Okay. So like we have done it on AWS. Yeah. So enter the card number. So whatever when you do buy something on the online using your cards, all those things. You address all those things. Then click on agree terms and conditions. Then you sign up, and then so once you sign up, then you can start logging into your account. Okay. So they charge you just like again AWS. So they have 2 rupees. They charge 2 rupees minimum amount. Even Azure charges 2 rupees. That's minimum amount. Okay. Well, after your account is created, now you just log into your account. Will be in your account. So this are okay. I'm login. That is my account. Then so Azure also have 3 different types of accounts. They have free tier account, and then developer account. Also they have production accounts. Okay, so they have these ones. Now, whenever you create a free tier account, then Azure provides. So free tier account is for free. So the account type you can create free tier account. Okay, and this free tier account is 30 days trial period. It's valid for 30 days. Okay, that. So within, and also they provide about some amount, they create about some amount on your card, and which is about 14,500 credit remaining. Okay, so this is the amount that they give us as an credit. That's amount. And then, so within these 30 days, you can experience all the services. So whatever the service you want to experience, even the paid services, everything is paid here. There's nothing called free and Azure. So nothing free, except very few services. Yeah. And then, for example, I want to create some instance. Okay, how it works on AWS. For example, on AWS, I want to create an instance. When you create instance, you can create a free tier instance. Yeah, but Azure does not have any free tier instances. They have paid instances only. They don't have any free tier instances. Then how I'm going to practice on Azure? So when you create an instance on Azure they call them virtual machines. In EC2, AWS EC2, here we call them virtual machines. When you create a virtual machine on Azure, so which is not for free, you can select some plans. So based upon the configurations, they charge us some amount per month. Okay. For example, let's say they're charging me about 2,000 rupees per month, let's say. Then, so you'll be paying about 2,000 rupees in that month, okay, from this credit. So that is the reason they have provided free credit. You can the amount will be debited from your account, which is 14,500, and this 14,500 amount is valid for 30 days only. After 30 days, you need to upgrade your account. So then, how to upgrade account? I think there are some options over here. So somewhere in accounts or something. Just look for this upgrade options they have. Just a second. They have upgrade options. Yeah, here it's yeah, they're provided. They have a shortcut. So they have a shortcut here. Upgrade. So the subscription, what I have now is, it's a free subscription. Okay, so this is like a free tier account, free subscription, and then this free subscription is valid for, like I said, 30 days. Okay, and then you get 14,500 credit. You can experience all the services and Azure. So within these 30 days with this amount. But if you reach beyond that, you must pay for that. Okay, remember. And then so subscriptions. So but we need to like upgrade my all the services. It's okay. I need to provide all these details again. Okay. So I will just talk about the subscription later. That's okay. That is not even so required. So you need to upgrade your subscription. Okay. Once subscription is upgraded, then we can start using other type of subscriptions. I think you can see here subscription, click on that. So I can show those subscriptions. So you see that I have only free trial. I have free trial, okay, which is active. Okay. There. So, and if you want to upgrade it, you can also upgrade it. So that is all. So upgradations, but upgradations will charge us. This is not for free. Okay. So upgradations are not for free. Okay. They haven't provided any options here. So I need to upgrade my billing address. So once I upgrade my billing address, I can upgrade anyway. Okay. Yeah. But those other apart from free trial subscription, okay, other subscriptions are paid subscriptions. So those are nothing but pay as you go services. So this is a little difference between AWS and then Azure. So here, initially, whenever you create account, they give you some credit, 14,500. Okay, And if you want to upgrade here, so you have also an option here. But I think I need to provide a full address of my account. Which I haven't done yet. So back to home. Yeah. So go to home page. Home page. We are already on the home page anyway. So this is our home page. Yeah. So you want to experience services. Now go to all services. Now, so here we have services, and then services are divided according to categories. Click on all services. I want to see all the services according to the categories. So here the services divided into categories. What categories? So this is all again, so looks similar to our other provider AWS. You have compute services. Okay, and then you have network services. See that you have network services, networking services, and then you have storage services. Then you have storage services, and you come across database services. Okay. These are web services, and then you have mobile services, you have container services, database services. Like it's all same. Right now, however, so let's try it today with compute service. I want to create an instance on Azure. How do I create an instance on Azure? So we'll talk about it. Under compute, so we have virtual machines. We create a virtual machine. This is like creating an EC2 instance. Okay. Well, so here, just a second. If you want to check your cost management bills, you also have cost management and billing. Okay. Click on cost management and bill. And then, so here, that is my account. Anyway, that's my account. And then go with that, click on the account. I can see a usage. You can see the usage. But as of now, I haven't used any. It's a new account. Okay. It's a new account. And then if you start using your accounts, then you can see different types of your billing according to the category. Okay. Well, I have only one subscription. There is my subscription, free trial. So, and how do we check the available amount? So you can check it from here. There's a bell symbol. So this is for notification purpose, and that's a credit remaining. Okay. That's a free trial. And everyone, so once you start create your account, whenever you create your account, and you start getting that credit, so around $200. Now that is in terms of dollars, so it is about $100. Going with now all services, and then I'm going with the service called virtual machines. So this is your virtual machine service. Okay, and creating your virtual instances on AWS Azure Cloud. Okay. The steps are pretty much similar. Like going to create an instance. So what do you select? Select the image, that means OS, and you select the instance type, you select the networks, storage, right? And what else? So we also have a tag names, right? And then securities. So we pretty much we do the same thing. So these are basic requirements for whenever you create any instance and whatever the platform that is. Is it a AWS platform or else Google platform or Azure platform? All the platforms are same. Okay, fine. So now we are in the virtual machines. Let's start creating the virtual machine. Now I would like to create a virtual machine here. Just click on the add. We are already on the service, virtual machine service. Click on add. So creating a new virtual machine. Okay, click on it. Okay. So just close that. So here you see that your basic step, your disk, networking, management, some advanced and tags, it's all same, right? Now first we are under advanced, sorry, basics. Now under basic, let me increase the size. I think that will do, I guess. The first thing we select is if you have any other subscriptions you have apart from free trial, if you have any subscriptions, you can also select the subscriptions. Let's say I have pay as you go subscriptions. When you go to pay as you go subscriptions, and then so you can see the subscription types there. Okay, so you have any other subscriptions enrolled for, like dev subscription, some other, so which are paid one, however. Then you can see those subscriptions over here. Okay. Then you have a resource group. So what is a resource group and why this resource group is required? Now, so resource groups are, I think, but it's kind of, let's say for example, I'm creating about so 10, 15 instances, and all these instances belongs to a same project, or else I'm creating a network for them. Okay, and I'm creating some volumes for them, and I'm creating load balancers, everything. So all of them I want to have in a particular group. So which is nothing but, let's say I'm creating a project. So since all these resources belongs to my project, I create them under same resource group. That's a resource group. So this option, resource group option, is not available in AWS. So this is a unique option they have. Okay. So now select a resource group, and then so you can create one if you want. Let's say create one. I would like to create a resource group. So let's say use a resource group, something like so capital 1. That's my resource group name. And then just scroll down, and then so you have instance details. You select the instance details, nothing but your virtual machine name, gives a virtual machine name. So let's say I would name it something like instance 1. Okay, and okay, special characters are not allowed, but they show it. So Azure name cannot contain special characters, joint basis to begin with. Okay, they don't allow special characters. Okay, so let's give that name. Name is instance 1 Ubuntu. Let's say I'm going to so launch Ubuntu on it. Instance 1 Ubuntu, and then so select the regions. You see that they have regions concept there, and but this is an advantage. In AWS, you select the regions there, right? You select the regions over here. But here, you can select the regions when you create each and every instance. That's the best advantage. But in AWS, you select the regions as a global. That means at the top of your page, you have the regions option. So once you are in the region, and you must create that instance in the region only. That means while creating an instance, I cannot change my region. But here, I can do it. For each and every instance, I can select the regions. This is a beautiful option. Right. So this is what I said. They have introduced some more options. It is more user friendly. Right. Go with the region. So whatever the region you like, go with the regions. Okay. And in India, so they have India regions. Let me show you. So they have South India and then West India. They should have also North something. We have North. There's South and then West. I think they have it. They have it. They have Central India. Sorry, yeah, they have Central India. So that's Central India and South India and then West India. Okay. Now you can select according to your, according to your requirement. Okay. But, so wherever you like to create that, you can select. We know this regions concept. And again, regions have available zones, right? You know that. So regions have availability zones, right? So select the region, then select go with availability zones. You can go with availability zones, and then so they have different availability zones. They have 3 availability zones over here under US East. Okay, and you want to change it to somewhere like in, let's say, India. I would like to go to South India. Then availability zones. But you see, under this South India region, they don't have any. So select availability zones, but they don't have any options to say that. So some of the availability zones, I mean, some of the regions, I mean, they don't have availability zones option given. You can see here, availability zones are available. The location you have selected, your locations. If they don't have. Okay. So they haven't set up the full regions yet so far. That's the reason they're not providing. So they are, I mean, they haven't provided the options to the users. They're doing it by default. That's it. Okay. Then moving on to, let's go with that. Whatever. I'd like to show you this now. Number of availability zones we can select. So they have availability zones. Select the availability zones. Okay. And then next step is after availability zones, and then you have image. Okay, select the image, and then you know the images concept. Now that is the image, and then you want to go with see all images. It's loading all the images. Also have marketplace. Okay. So they have Red Hat and then Debian and Ubuntu. So these are images. Okay, these are the OSs. Nothing too much to support that. So we'll close it. Just close that. And then so the size. Look at the size. Look at the default size they have. The default size is so which is so 2 virtual CPUs and then 8 GB memory, and then they're given some names to this. They call it standard T2S underscore V3. That is the instance type. This is like T2.micro or T3 minimum T3 lots. So the same thing. Okay, and that is the cost which are okay. And then I want to say change my instance type. So see this instance types. And then so these are the different instance types. And these all instance types again. So now here you can see a lot of instance types. Okay. But when you change your regions, then some of the instance types might not be available. Like we all know, so services and options are region specific. We all know that. Okay. So and then these are, you can see that. So you have virtual CPUs and then RAM, disk, database, and the maximum IOPS. You can see the IOPS as well. See the IOPS. Okay, and then it's a temporary storage, and then so the cost. I like to change the cost. Let's say would like to go with so 273. Okay, 273, and then that is the cost per month. 273 rupees. There is nothing called free. There is nothing called free. It's done. So that is the reason they are providing us this credit. Okay, that's a credit. You run this instance for a whole month, they charge you 273 rupees. Okay. Okay. Select that instance type, which is the so basic instance type. We call them B1S. Okay. General purpose, and then select that. And then this is other advantage. Now, usually when you launch instances on AWS, right, the instances are, we log into the instances using the keys, SSH keys, right? But here we log into them. We also have option, which is password option. So this password option is not there in AWS, but we have it in, so Azure. Okay, clear? So we go with SSH public key, and then we go with the password. So both, we have both. Since we know this SSH public key concept, let me try with the password. So if you go with SSH public keys, right? I think you know that that is the default username, and you can give any username anywhere. The usernames can be changed. You see that username can be. There is no particular standard name for this. You can change the usernames. That's the best advantage. But AWS AMI's images have standard names. Okay. Then your public, you want to go create a public key. So create a public key, or you want to use existing key, so you can do it. Okay. Then so and the key pair name, what is key pair name, and then you can create a key pair. But this is very much familiar to us from AWS. Now I like to go with password. So provide some password. But this password, you must remember them. Can we reset the passwords? Of course, that can be reset, but that, so give some name, then username. Username is capital as the username. Also provide some password. So the value must be between 12 to 72. Oh, that's too long. That's my IP password. But this is a drawback, so you must remember the password. That's a drawback. So that's a drawback. And then there comes the securities, inbound port numbers. Okay. So public inbound port numbers, and you want to allow. So allow circuit port numbers, and you can go with port numbers. What kind of port number? SSH, with SSH. You want to go with the HTTPS and HTTP, so go with the port numbers. Okay, right. So, and you don't want to do any kind of, so set up any inbound roles, you go with non-inbound roles, but we like to do it. So go with select port numbers, and the port number is SSH. That's why SSH login, you know that. And then, so go with next. Okay. And then, so that you have OS disk type. You know these disk types again. So these are disk options. We have standard STD. Okay. And standard STD is for, so what is the purpose? For high IVOX workloads. So if you are using for high loads, okay, you have high, you want to go with, this is again, so compare with in AWS, we have volume types, okay, provision DevOps, the same thing. And so I like to go with, let's say, standard SSD. Okay, SSD also, it's very much similar. Okay, so it's like for high IVOPS, and for then you go with premium SSD. Okay, so and you can just go with this. Okay, if you want, you can go with that. So this allow, so you can go with that data, and then you can read some information over here. Click on the learn more, and you can see the information in what cases we get different disk types. Let me give you the comparisons. They have some comparisons over here. They should have a kind of a graph comparison chart. So these are the ones. Okay, and select a disk type. Okay, let's go click on it. Probably that will give us detailed information. Or else we can talk about this in volume, the disk. Okay, yeah, they have it anywhere. They have here disk comparisons. In what cases we select this. Okay. So premium SSD and standard SSD, standard SSD. Okay, so that's the type, and then so now you see that maximum disk size, and if you go with ultra disk, okay, ultra disk, the ultra disk option it's not available here. The reason is we are using free trial account. If you go with other type of accounts like pay-as-you-go accounts, then the ultra option will be available. But since we are in the free trial, that option is not provided. So there are limitations, of course, for free trial. Okay. So you have maximum disk size, okay, for ultra, and premium, and there is 32,767 GB standard SSD, and then standard SSD. Okay, so both are same. SSD and then SSD are same. It's almost like same. Okay, and then so standard SSD basically we use it for web service purpose. Okay, especially for dev test purpose. Okay, and then and this ultra SSD, ultra disk, so which is for I'm sorry, but for databases purpose. You use for databases purpose when you have databases, and then premium SSD for production purpose. Okay. And standard SSD is for non-critical. So non-critical, and then so like I'm not trying to access the data from that disk so very frequently. It's very unusual. I access the data. Then you can go with standard SSD. Okay. And you have throughputs, of course. So all the differences according to the differences. So then we have maximum IOPS, number of IOPS. Since we don't do the processing of the data on our standard SSD, you can go with 2000. So it's like minimum. So 2000. So that's for operations, you can say maximum IOPS. Okay. So basically these three: premium SSD, premium SSD, and then standard SSD and standard SSD. Then ultra disk, so that is for other purpose. That means if you go with other type of accounts. Okay. Now, so go with that. I would go with, let's say, some kind of premium standard SSD. Okay, I'm going with standard SSD. So standard SSD again, so which is for purpose for non-infrequent access data. I want to access my data. It's very rare. You can go. So standard is so for non-critical infrequent. So then encryption type. So these are like volume encryption types they have. Okay. So go with the default encryption. The volumes are encrypted. And so yeah, and you want to add some additional volumes from here, you can do it. So that you can create a disk from here itself, and then and attach also a disk here. Okay, you can even create one, but in AWS you cannot create your disk from the EC2 options. That is not. It is possible in Azure, and you can attach that. You can attach it. Then going with next. Next is networking. We all know that, which is virtual private networks. All the networking over here, virtual networks, whatever we call it. Okay, the networks. And then, so here it's creating a default network. It's creating a network here, which is capital one VNet. Okay, that's a default network. And then, so default network means it's creating a network. I mean, when I say there's nothing called default network here, it's creating a new network. If you want to create new network, you can create it. But we'll talk about these networks again in terms of when you go to virtual networks, we'll talk about these networks. and then the subnet. Okay, so what's the subnet? You know this, right? The CIDR blocks we have, and you can go with the CIDR blocks. This is the default one. Okay, that's like a default. But if you want to create a new CIDR block, a new subnet, yes, that all comes in a networks concept. Okay. So here it's showing only the existing ones, or so these are existing ones. But I'm creating a new one. When I create a new one, by default, here this is the subnet, which is class C subtype, class C range CIDR, and then public IP. Okay. Now, when I go with when I launch my instance, I want to have a public IP address from outside of the virtual network. So you can go with public IPs. We know the concepts of these ones. So that's why I said, if you familiar with one platform, I mean AWS platform, learning other platform is very, very easier. Okay. And then network security group, that's your security groups. Hope you remember the security groups concept. You can create a security group there and you can attach it. And if you don't want groups, you can go with or else basic one. And inbound rules. Okay, we already have selected them, inbound rules. Select inbound rules here. Okay, this is 22, which we already selected in the previous step. And there you have load balancing. Okay. So this is load balancing is for. So you want to do some kind of load balancing for the instances. So you want to use this instance for load balancing purpose. Then you can go to option, select that for load balancing. Okay. But if you want to do that, say for example, let's say I have a load balancer created, and to the load balancer, I want to add this instance. We can do it, but now, so we don't have any load balancers. If you have one, you can select that and add the load balancer. Okay, so well, so this is an advanced option again, right? It's an advanced option. So you can add the instances to the load balancers while you create your instance, while you launch instance. That's a beautiful option again. So these kind of options you won't come across so in AWS, right? So I'm doing some comparisons so that you can understand. I'm doing some comparisons. Okay. Now go with next. And then so enable basic plan. So we only have the free tier account anyway. So enable the basic plan for this. Okay, enable it. And then monitoring. This is your CloudWatch monitoring. Okay, you want to enable the monitoring storage account, enable the custom storage account. You want to keep monitoring them. Okay, you can monitor it. And this is for OS guest diagnostic. Okay, you can create alerts. Okay, you can create alerts for them. Yeah, this is like CloudWatch. We'll talk about them anyway. Then identity, solve these ones, and you want to go with auto shutdown. So go with auto shutdown, and if you want to create some kind of enable backup plan, so you can enable the backup plans. How frequently you want to take a backup. So these ones. Okay. And again, these ones comes under your we have images concept and snapshots concept. Well discussed that backups. Okay. Now this is so you see that these kind of options. So like that is not provided in AWS. When you create EC2 instance, you don't have these options, right? So you create instance first, then after you come back to these options. But here, so if you have all of them set up already, I've created my backup plans, I have all these things ready, I have my load balancer ready. Simply you can create instance, you can add that to load balancer, you can enable the monitoring. So while instance is created, okay, and this is other one. So image updates, I mean that means OS updates. Okay, so OS updates, which are your if your OS has any patch upgradations, then image is default. It is going to upgrade your so it's guest OS upgradations. The next advanced, and you can skip these advanced options anyway. So you can skip these ones. So these are nothing but extensions, something but kind of plugins concepts. Okay, can be skipped. Add them to host groups. Next is okay, and you want to give some tag name. That means your instance name. Name is equals to, and then give a value over here. Provide a value. So I would say capital and instance 1. Okay, and then just go with that. So how many resources? Once you create it, this instance will be available across the all the resources. Okay, this will be available through all the resources there. Go with next, review, and then create. That's the last. So now we can see the cost here. This is about 0.37 and per hour the charges for this instance type. Validation fast. So let's create instance. Okay, click on create. So this is being deployed. So still in progress. And you can see the notifications here. Every time you just do some operations on this console, you can see that status and what is being happening. So it has been successfully deployed. Just go to the resource and go to the resource. And that's the instance public IP address. So the public IP address, and this is your all instance information. That's my instance. Okay, resource group. So we created a resource group, right? That's a resource group, and then so you can find that under activity log. Okay. So what was happening? You can see that whole information on activity log. Okay. So what was happening? The instance was being launched and started, and so that is activity log. And then access control management is IAM securities. Can access and who cannot. IAM, like we know that IAM concept, right? Access management. Add more users. Okay. Okay. And then check the networks. It is great. It is great. Own network. Something called Bastion. So hope you know the Bastion concept. So this is not a Bastion instance at all for the now. So but it is just an SSH, connect with SSH if you find. You can use putty Okay, and then so and even some commands been provided here. These are the commands. Okay. And then so let's do connected. So we just want to connect it, get connected, and then disk. So you can see the disk, whatever is attached. You can see that. Okay. So that's the disk and size of the disk. This is a disk. Only we have one disk, and then so on the securities. So this is what is on one more easy kind of view they have added. So when you go to AWS, right, they have just under site. In the top, you see the list of instances. You select it at the bottom. You just see the whole things. But here, the view is very much easier. This is very user friendly, right? I'm under the instance. I can select all the options for the instance next to on the left hand side. But on AWS, this is not so simple to do it. That means you select the instance, you store. That is the view is at the bottom, right? That is not visible then. Okay. Go to overview, right? And let me go through that. That's a public IP, but I like to. Okay, let's log in then. Let's log in. That's a public IP. Just change these appearances. Login as capital user, and then the password. Now we are in. See that now I can switch to super user. That's a super user. Okay. So now we are at Ubuntu instance. Okay. So this is the concept is the password concept, right? The password concept. So since I have created my instance, I have launched my instance with the passwords. I can go with the passwords. Okay. And you see that these are the different statuses here, different statuses. And go with restart, you can stop it. And this is okay. This is capture. So what it captured is going to capture, okay, capture the instance, which is the instance, and as in a backup, you can say. Okay. Create image. We are getting an image. Okay. We talk about these images, snapshots probably. So in tomorrow's session, so we talk about this. But we know the concept of captures like images. We know pretty much about this. Okay. But anyway, just so back to that. You can capture means this is like creating an image. Okay. And you just want to restart and stop them, you can do it. And then what else we can see from here? I think that's pretty much for this instance. And you can try to go with go to the home page and create an instance, create another virtual machine over here. Just create another virtual machine. I'm just looking for a second. Probably just okay, that is option. I like to okay. Let's go with it. So go to back to virtual machines again, like option. I was just looking for do they provide anything for that? I don't think so. Now you see that there is that. Ubuntu. Then, so let me go back to all resources again, or go to the home page. When I go to the home page, and I can see resources here, okay, and the created resource, or if you go to resources, so resource groups, I mean, you can go with resource groups. Go to resource groups. In the resource groups, you can see list of resources you have created. This is a resource I have created, right? So this is like a project I said, capital. And then, so when you do that, so under that resource group, which is capital one, that's my resource group. And the resource group I have, so my instance created, instance one Ubuntu, also I have capital one virtual network. So all the related, so to that resource group are available here. Yeah. So there you see that. So this is another kind of a good practice whenever you create instances or networks. You create them, all the things related to the project. So I will be creating under that resource group. That's a good practice always. So that in the future you don't need to like wondering about, so where did I create my instance and all these things. You create a project name, go to the project name, you have all the resources. Also, I'm creating some environment, let's say. And that environment we can create under the group. When you open the group, you can see all the resources available under the environment. Well, back to the instance. And what is the instance? That's our instance, virtual machine. You can see. Select the instance. Okay. And then I'll to stop the instance. Okay. Click on stop. And then, so you want to stop the instance, you can stop the instance. Now, instance is stopped. Okay. Yeah. So there is instance is it stopped? I think it's stop. So that is stopping virtual machine. This is stop. Okay. Right. Now I just want to start it again. Just start it. So this is the status. Okay. This instance status. That is again starting. Okay. Right. So this is how you just create an instance here, and that is there. Okay, well, it's easy. And you can check these monitoring things. Just go scroll up, scroll down. Just go with that monitoring. So go with monitoring. Now click on that public IP. I just click on the public IP. Click on it. Now we can set up these ideal timeouts. Okay, we set up the ideal timeout service. Your instance is not used. Okay, you can set up the timeout. So you see that we can set up the IPs timeouts from here. It's great. Okay. So what happens if I refresh? Let's see. If I refresh this. Now that is not reset. It's okay. Fine. Okay. Now back to that instance. Okay. And then so you have monitoring. The key metrics. You see that you know the monitoring concept. which is Rank CloudWatch. See that instance, average usage, network load balancers. We can set the CloudWatch alarms. Okay, we can do that. That is, and then what else? Back to the home. Now you create an instance. So I want to create another virtual machine. You can try this from your side. I create a new instance. Sorry. And then slowly, yeah, there it is. And so you just try this. You select, and I like to go with Windows. Okay, select, go with Windows. Select the Windows. Select Windows 2019. Okay, try that, and then log into that Windows with the help of RDP. Okay, but make sure you have the passwords. All these things are given. The settings, all the settings are given here. Yeah. So this is what you're going to try for today. So create instances with Ubuntu instances, Linux platforms, also Windows platforms, and also try this. That is what you try for today. Launch instances. When I say instances means your virtual machines. So VMs with Ubuntu, and also try with Windows, and then create them with both options. What options? Create them with passwords, and then also with SSH keys. We are very much familiar with SSH keys, so but you try that also for Windows, and then so go with that. Explore the console. So how to create accounts, all those things. Explore the console, then type of subscriptions they provide, and so once you create your account, you have the credit available or not. So just try to explore all the options they have provided. Okay. Right. So try this, and any questions? It's very much simple there. We all, because you're already into AWS, so you might know these options already. Fine. I think that's all, I guess. Any questions? Anyone else?